this is Manin Rabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatupula. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Naka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Good evening, I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, PM says government will relook at rape laws. Major reduction in fuel prices announced. And later on in sports, Semi Kunatani geared up for Singapore Sevens. Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama says government will need to relook at the laws for punishment of rape offences. His comment comes after Year 13 student of Nasavusavu Secondary School stood up during Bainimarama's North visit and requested that the laws in relation to this crime be changed.
During his visit to Nasavusavu Secondary School in Savusavu this week, Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama asked Year 13 students to tell him what they want to be done in Fiji. 18-year-old Nikesha Nisha rose to the occasion and spoke about rape, an issue that has grappled the nation in recent months.
School has started 2016, rape cases is going dramatically increasing and people are just getting away with it. So I think the laws for laid out for rape are considered very
lenient.
The Prime Minister couldn't agree more with the Year 13 student and asked what she thinks should be done.
In the olden days, there used to be persecution and rape, and in India, there's a law that the person who is harmed, who is the victim, can harm the person who raped. So, if Fiji could
have a look at those laws.
Yeah.
I've been told repeatedly in the last 3-4 weeks to ask to get the responsible ministry to have a relook at those laws.
Bainimarama also took the time to remind the students of their responsibility as citizens of this country.
You have a responsibility, okay? In not only in life but in the running of our nation. So in 2 years' time, when you'll be voting, think about what you want to do for Fiji and what Fiji you want, what you expect Fiji to do for you.
The Prime Minister was at Nasavusavu Secondary to see the damage sustained by the school during Tropical Cyclone Winston. Eleanor Turangiview, FBC News.
A major reduction in prices of unleaded petrol, premix, kerosene, diesel and LPG products was announced by the Minister for Trade Fayaz Koya today. Koya says the international prices for fuel have fallen in the last 3 months, resulting in the price reduction here. Savara Tambua has more.
The reduction in fuel and LPG prices, which will come into effect at midnight tonight, are as follows. Motor spirit goes down by 27 cents. Premix has fallen from $1.78 to $1.51 and kerosene down by 35 cents. Diesel from $1.50 to $1.19, a decrease of 21 cents per litre, while a 4.5 kg cylinder goes from $12.52 to $11.51, and a 12 kg cylinder will now be $30.70. Bulk from $2.36 a kg to $2.15, a decrease of 19 cents, and auto gas per litre from $1.58 to $1.45, a decrease of 13 cents.
The change in methodology for the markup application basically ensures that the retailer's margin remains constant and irrespective of the movement of international prices. This reduces the risk of losses to the retailers due to fluctuations in world market prices.
Everybody will benefit, the owners, the consumers and the passengers, overall everybody. Yeah, I love it.
Government is doing well, and we should support this government for doing this.
Traders are advised to comply with the new prices to avoid the imposition of a spot fine of up to $3,000 or $1,000 under the Commerce Commission Decree 2010.
And they'll be out monitoring, making sure that prices are applied tonight, as of midnight. So all they have to do is just call the Commerce Commission, tell the Commerce Commission that this particular retailer charged this amount for the fuel, if they have the receipts, etc. So.
This is one of the lowest fuel prices in recent years and will bring much relief to most as the recovery from the recent weather elements continue. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
The Ministry of Social Welfare is putting together the mechanics of a card system that will enable families whose homes were damaged or destroyed by tropical cyclone Winston to purchase building materials under government's Help for Homes initiative. Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama made this clear while visiting cyclone-affected areas in Vanua Levu this week. Eleanor Turangaivu with this report.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama has clarified that the assistance government is offering to those whose homes were destroyed or damaged by TC Winston will be rolled out once the Ministry of Social Welfare has completed their work on putting together a new card system.
The process will come out in due course, but we've told everyone, but it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen next couple of weeks. We will announce the process as time goes by.
Once this is done, the Ministry of Social Welfare will then work with the offices of the divisional commissioners to see who will receive the assistance based on the initial assessments and survey done following TC Winston.
The application form is not within the MO office, not yet anyway. But they will pick it up. They will pick up the information from the information put out by the commissioners and their staff, Commissioner Northern, Commissioner Eastern, Commissioner Central.
The card will enable the holder to use it at any hardware store. However, it does not cover freight costs. The Prime Minister is advising those in the maritime islands to place their order in bulks and the government vessels or boats can transport it for them. In other places, like the interior and rural areas, the onus is on each individual to transport their own building materials.
Might be good in the next 30 days before the cards come out from the Ministry of Social Welfare, as I've told Commissioner Northern and his staff tonight. It might be good that they go out and revisit those areas that have been surveyed, because they may have been done hastily straight after the Hurricane Winston not too long ago.
The card system should be ready in May at the earliest, after which the assistance will then be rolled out to the public. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
There are 13 confirmed cases of Zika in the country. Health Minister Chone Osumate says the ministry has protocols in place to deal with this, along with the major cleanup campaign in the pipeline. Maggie Boyle reports.
Zika is a serious concern for the ministry, particularly with all suspected cases having to be sent abroad for testing, with results a 3-week wait.
Total number that we've had is 13. We've put in place our Zika action plan. The same sort of activities that we do for dengue and chikungunya. We're very serious in getting the information out, and once this wet weather diminishes, we'll be looking at going into a massive cleanup campaign together with the Ministry of Local Government. So I've had discussions with them. The main focus of all of these mosquito things is to destroy mosquito breeding grounds.
According to the Health Minister, Chone Osumate, 11 Zika cases were confirmed in the Western Division, with 2 from the Central End. While none of Fiji's cases are pregnant women who risk giving birth to babies with microcephaly, plans are underway to keep the figures low.
The most important thing is to protect yourself against mosquitoes. And secondly, destroy mosquito breeding grounds. That's the most important thing. That's the message you're constantly harping about.
Zika symptoms are similar to that of dengue fever, including joint pain, a rash and nausea. If you feel one or the other, see your doctor as soon as you can. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Sri Sanatan Dharam Pratinidhi Sabha Fiji says children and teachers will now actively take part in the last day of Ramnavami celebrations tomorrow, following the announcement by the Education Ministry that faith-based schools will be closed for the ceremony. Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy had earlier announced that schools will remain open on Friday, a decision which a number of faith-based organizations had opposed.
The religious-based schools, the Sanatan Dharam, the Arya Samaj, the Sangam schools, the Sikh schools, they all have been taking part in these celebrations from the colonial days. And I'm happy to say that this year again they will be able to take part in this program.
Still to come on FBC News, Australians praise Fiji post-TC Winston. And women honoured for their part in recovery efforts. Stay with us.
Golvina, gue ako sa ulog, ni Tabua. Total tayo na wali mo parong na Bula FM naman doon na siya.
Bula, narango ulamila o ngo ngay nandi ando talitak na parong na Bula FM number 2 na siya.
Bula, nango penyo lo toka. Do talita kanawaro ng Bula FM ng bandoy na siya.
Nimbula na rango o ana waite webata ena kasi ando bangorongo ena Bula FM ng bandoy en seri.
Bula FM number 2 en seri.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Fiji has been commended for its quick response and recovery following the devastation of Tropical Cyclone Winston in February. The Australian Defence Force says much progress has been seen in the affected areas just within 7 weeks of their operation. Akusita Tale reports.
7 weeks of working together with the Fijian government, the Australian Defence Forces say Fijians now have temporary roofs over their head, proper classrooms and clean water supply, among many others.
Seeing children back in school and they're just delightful, and their willingness to learn and their smiles and the way in which the Australian Defence Force have worked alongside the Republic of Fiji military forces. We've learned as much from the Fijian military as they have from us, and I think that relationship on the ground and seeing those children, they're the sort of things that myself and my soldiers will take home with us.
6 schools have been repaired and rebuilt in Koro, 3 in Rakiraki, 5 medical centres fixed and 4 churches have been revamped by the Australian Defence Forces so far.
I think really sets a good way for that move forward, and we've been happy to be here to do that first bit of patchwork and to help out initially, and the government and the people of Fiji have maintained that resilience and that warmth throughout. It's been quite humbling, and it's just been a privilege to be here. It's what neighbours do.
In a Thanksgiving service organised by the Fiji-Australia Business Council in Suva last night, the officers were commended for their contribution.
We have responsibilities as responsible global citizens, whether it be post-conflict and post-disasters. It's the humanitarian aspect that is always critical, and it overrides all the politics and whatever that's in existence, because we have that responsibility to humanity at large.
The Australian Defence Forces is expected to wrap up work next week when the second phase of the state of natural disaster comes to an end. Akusita Tale, FBC News.
More than 6 weeks since Tropical Cyclone Winston struck Fiji, the repairs and reconstruction of essential infrastructure continues across the country. In Rakiraki, a number of soldiers from the Republic of the Fiji military forces have been working with Australian Defence Force on the restoration of classrooms. RFMF's Section Commander, Corporal Alfred Busoni Tokelao, says the exchange is mutually beneficial.
Learning some new experience from them, and we're teaching them other things too from us, because of the things that here, like the houses like that, the building of the houses, they got their own tools and all those things. So they're teaching us something, and we're teaching them something too. The easiest way, they're teaching us the easiest way.
Recognizing the role of women in their families, communities and the nation is important and must not be overlooked. A morning tea was held today to thank and celebrate the many women who worked tirelessly to help rebuild their communities after Tropical Cyclone Winston. Fiji is progressively recovering well following the destruction left by Tropical Cyclone Winston. Australian High Commissioner Margaret Toomey says it is during such times that the work of women throughout the country has been immense.
It says a lot about the spirit of community in Fiji, which is well and truly alive. People are looking after each other and staying positive in the face of immense tragedy, loss and the challenge of rebuilding their lives. And women, of course, are a huge part of what keeps communities together, and that's been so obvious in my travels.
The Australian government has been coordinating a number of projects with the Ministry of Women, Children and Poverty
And to marvel at the
Alleviation.
resilience of the Fijian people. Everywhere we go, we are met with people, we are treated with communities and individuals with smiles. And that actually shows the resilience of Fijian people. And I think we must commend that resilient spirit that resides amongst each and every Fijian.
The Australian government has been working with the Fiji Muslim Women's League, Medical Services Pacific, the Catholic Women's League, Femlink Pacific, Action Aid Australia and UN Women.
We do also recognise that despite the fact that women are fast responders, they also have the caregiving role that's not recognised and supported in a normal context.
But the stories we heard were also those of women's resilience. Women rebuilding their houses, clearing gardens, coming to town to sell the few root crops that they could salvage in the immediate aftermath of the storm. And women in the less affected markets collecting donations to support their fellow market vendors in the most affected areas. These are stories of strength.
Strengthening ties and reaching out to more women around the country will continue for these groups, even after the country has returned to normalcy. The Australian government has committed a Fijian $23 million humanitarian assistance package to Fiji in the aftermath of tropical Cyclone Winston. Sava Road in Naitaasiri is currently being upgraded by Fulton Hogan Highways. FHH says they're grading 3 kilometres of the road throughout, followed by re-sheeting gravel on the graded surface. Farmer Pranish Navinidat says that the graded stretch has not been worked on for more than 7 years. The road he uses daily to convey vegetables to the Nausori market is finally getting the attention it deserves.
Before the road was good, and when the raining time, the road condition is really bad. It's really bad. Then they used to put the gravel, all the stuff. Just use the road for going to town to take our vegetables, all the stuff from our farm.
It's time for sports, and here's Vashnil with the latest.
Thank you, Jackie. Coming up in sports, Fiji to defend Singapore Sevens after 10 years. And Nawaka Sevens ready for kickoff. That and more after the break.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM Rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Sala, I live in Asinu. Today FM Rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka, and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Ulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM, it rocks in Rakiraki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM Rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
Vodafone Fiji Sevens rep Semi Kunatani is looking forward to continuing his performance at the Singapore Sevens this weekend. He was named the player of the final in the Hong Kong tournament, win on Sunday, and is confident that Fiji will put up another impressive performance in Singapore. Edwin Nunn reports.
The Fiji Sevens team were at Changi Airport in Singapore promoting rugby and Fiji to hundreds of people travelling through one of the biggest transit points in the world. Semi Kunatani attracted lots of attention from the crowd, but even in public engagements, his mind is never far from the job at hand.
Last week's game, everyone was happy that we got the job done. We will try our best to win this one. The boys and I have the belief that we can do the impossible.
Kunatani was consistent in every facet of play at the Hong Kong Sevens, having flown in directly from France, and it has taken a toll on him.
Because of the Hong Kong last week, I still have body pain, sore muscles. I'm just doing a few stretches and exercise and light weights.
With new players Nemani Nangusa, Ali Ferretti Vaitokani and Emosi Mulevoro meeting up with the team this morning, Konatani is optimistic about their chances this weekend.
I know all the teams are ready for this week. They'll try and come back even harder. But I'm thankful for the new boys who've come and joined us. They'll be a big help in this tournament.
Meanwhile, Fiji has taken center stage at Changi Airport with various displays and a virtual booth where fans can have a go at conversions, just like a real rugby game. This promotional display will remain for the whole month. Edwin Nand, FBC Sports.
The Vodafone Fiji Sevens side is hoping to defend the Singapore title on Sunday. Fiji still holds a great record in Singapore and won the tournament when it was last played in 2006.
I think anyone that's savvy about sevens wouldn't tip us as favourites for Singapore. Yeah, of course we want to win it and we're number one in the world. But just look at the history of the fact that no one's managed to double up on Hong Kong in 10 years. You've got to look at someone like South Africa, really, with only one injury change and only having to play in the semi-finals to be marked down as favourites this weekend.
A familiar face in World Rugby will be gracing the field during the Fiji-Bita Nawaka Sevens in Nadi starting tomorrow. Former Wallaby star Randike Samu will lead a Brisbane Fijian side that is bent on giving some top local clubs a run for their money at Prince Charles Park. Chale Daka has more.
Still sporting the afro hair which made him an icon during his time with the Wallabies and Queensland Reds, Randike Samo did not think twice about bringing a Brisbane Fijians team to compete in the Nawaka Sevens this weekend.
I think the last time I played for Nawaka Seven and this ground was back in '96, and yeah, it's good to come back at home and to be back where my rugby career started.
The team is made up of players with links to Nandi and has also roped in some local players as some club members could not make the trip due to personal commitments.
We thought, instead of coming overseas, we come back to Fiji, homeland, to come and play for Nawaka Seven. It's a good experience for a lot of the boys. They've never been to Nandi to play for their tournament.
The Brisbane Fijians are expecting a tough time over the 2 days of the Fiji-Bita Nawaka Sevens this weekend, but they want to put on a good show in front of the home fans here at Prince Charles Park. Talento Takataka, FBC Sports.
And now we join Charlie live from Nandi with Randike Samu.
Thank you, Vashnil. Well, I'm here with the man himself, Randike Samu. Only a few hours left, 1 day before the tournament kicks off. But Randike, Fijians in the country and around the world will be following another tournament, the Singapore Sevens this weekend. How have you seen the Fiji Sevens team's progress in the World Series, and especially after that win in Hong Kong last week?
I think they've been playing really well so far, the last few tournaments, and especially last weekend. The way they've been playing, and I think they look like they're having fun, and that's the most important thing in sports. You got to play footy, you got to have fun, you got to enjoy it. So I think that shows on the weekend, and that's why they won the Hong Kong Sevens on the weekend, because they're enjoying and they're having fun. So and what Ben Ryan's been doing the last few years has been, everyone's pretty happy and everyone's proud of it. What's the whole squad's been doing, and everyone's happy, everyone's proud of it. So, and all the boys have been playing well. So.
Well, there you have it, Randike Samu. We should catch him and the Brisbane Fijians at the Prince Charles Park tomorrow for the Fiji-Bita Nawaka Sevens. Back to you, Vashnil.
That's Charlie live from Nandi. Meanwhile, Nawaka Sevens major sponsor Paradise Beverages will continue to support the tournament in years to come. The company handed over the $30,000 prize money check to the organizers last night during the tournament launch at Nawaka Village and offered its support for one of the country's major and local sevens competition.
We also feel very humbled by what you've done for us. Vinaka Bagaleva, looking forward to the next 2 days.
The Fiji Bitanawaka Sevens kicks off tomorrow at 8 a.m. with 62 teams to compete in the men's, women's and oldies division. Premier teams competing in the 2016 Skipper Cup competition will be given $30,000 from the Fiji Rugby Union as participating costs throughout the tournament. The FIU with its sponsors today handed over the jerseys to the participating teams. The teams also received match balls, training balls and vouchers from sponsors which will help them throughout the season. The Skipper Cup competition begins next Saturday with Nanronga playing Naita Siri at Singatoka's Lawanga Park. The Assemblies of God under-19 team is ready to take on defending champions Bar Provincial in the quarterfinals of the Fiji Secondary Schools Rugby League competition this Saturday. The side has been boosted with the inclusion of 6 Queen Victoria school players. Leading the charge will be fullback Savenada Valevo, who says his team is ready for the battle.
For the last 3 days, we prepared from only our ground in AOT. All the boys I tell the boys to prepare well for the game on Saturday. We will do the talk on the ground with Bapro.
Well, that's all from sports. Good evening.
Vinod Patel Company Limited today signed a 1-year agreement with Post Fiji Limited for the easy collection of hire purchase repayments. The agreement will enable all of Vinod Patel's hire purchase customers to make their repayments at the nearest post office outlets. Post Fiji Board Chair Lawrence Tikaram says the agreement will benefit almost 10,000 Vinod Patel customers, especially those residing in rural areas.
Post Fiji is a provider of service and in line with government's objective and strategic plan for a greater, wider availability of financial services. This is just another step in achieving those goals, short-term and long-term.
An active trough of low pressure with associated cloud and rain to the north of Fiji is expected to gradually move southwards and affect the group from tonight. Looking at temperatures, Nadi was the hottest today on 33 degrees, followed by Lambasa and Ba, Savu and Suva were the only centres to hit below the 30 mark. For tomorrow, rain developing over Vanua Levu, Taviuni and nearby smaller islands, Lomaiviti and Lau group, the eastern and interior parts of the other larger islands, isolated heavy falls and thunderstorms expected elsewhere, showers especially in the afternoon or evenings. And the further outlook is for Saturday should see rain heavy at times and few thunderstorms over most places. Recapping the main stories for tonight, Prime Minister says his government will relook at rape laws, major reduction in fuel prices announced and take effect at midnight, and Fiji's 7 superstar Semi Kunatani ready for Singapore tournament. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to our poll question for this week, we are asking, are there too many fake online boutiques in operation? To answer, visit our FBC website. You've been watching FBC News. I'm Jackie Spate. Bye for now.
मैं हूँ रेहान खान कुरबो तालेबू के जैसे फेस्टिवल आई ग्रेट है कुरबो में उसी तरह मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है कुरबो में
एलिन लटका में मिर्ची एफएम को लॉक कर दिया जाए मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट
हम नकाशी से सामान है हमारा फेस्टिवल जैसे नंबर 1 है वैसे मिर्ची एफएम नंबर 1 है
माय नेम इज दिनेश हम नैंडी में काम करता है स्लीपिंग जॉइंट जिपलाइन में और मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट आई लाइक इट
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट